got his glasses. He's here. And when is there when he left, I cut some of his hair. He's here. I wanted to get his gold tooth, but I thought that was a little odd. Well, a little bit about this picture. This is on the way to the Oscars, and he brought me as his date. But the thing is that people really thought I was his date. Yeah, in this day and age, you never know. So that was a funny thing. I'm like, this is my dad. This is dad, my father. You know, kept making that a thing because I wanted to like mingle around myself, but everyone thought he was my boyfriend. Anyways. I wasn't expecting this to be so difficult, but this was the last thing I expected to happen. This all feels and seems so surreal, but yet again, you're not truly gone. I can feel you here directing me through this, but not through words, through symbols, to signs, reassuring me that I'm capable of anything I put my mind to, no matter how absurd, like doing this. When I find myself stagnant or lost, you come out of nowhere, whether it's numbers or a butterfly. We had a deep connection to butterflies, and he used to send me videos of butterflies outside the house and him like commentating for them, like, they're saying hi to you, hope you have a good day, just like randomly. So I've always had a deep connection to butterflies and hummingbirds. It's like a symbol of him. Like the other day I was just in a weird place and not realizing that I needed him, and a butterfly came out of nowhere. So just like little things like that. When I find myself stagnant or lost, you come out of nowhere, whether it's numbers or a butterfly. It gives me comfort to feel you so close, even though at times you feel universes away. You always had a way with words. I remember you told me you got it from your mother. One I got to meet her. But now you're with her. That's great. I hope I don't mess this up. Hopefully you'll forgive me, Pops. One of the things you passed down to both me and my friends was your mother's favorite saying. I believe it went along the lines of, you can never tell from where you sit when the lady in the balcony is going to spit. A silly way of saying expect the unexpected. You have always come off as both immortal and invincible to me, capable of anything, no matter how insane. Your age was never a factor. When you set your mind to something, you did it full throttle, never looking back, which I always admire. You've always come off, you tried to direct my life. Although your stubbornness rubbed off on me, I became accustomed to having you stage, edit, light, curate my experience in a way that you saw beneficial to my future. We once found a dead rat at the front door. Janny wanted to throw it away, but I wanted to have a burial. You decided to film it, even edit it, and add a soundtrack to then upload onto YouTube, bringing new life and vision to something others saw as trash. If you have his YouTube, it's up there. It's still there. I remember when I was younger, he made a video of me showing the house, like MTV Cribs, before that was even a thing. You encouraged me every step of the way, letting me direct it while you were the cameraman. You always had your uniform, button-down shirts with a zipper vent by the armpit, and corduroy pants. And don't think I didn't notice your amazing sock collection. Didn't matter if no one noticed them, because all that matters is you knew. One of my favorite things is that you would let me decorate your belt buckle with stickers growing up. I loved coming to your screenings or Q&As and always seeing my extravagant array of stickers on you. Not only that, you decided to make your phone case a picture of me. It always made me giggle seeing my face with you during interviews or special events, because you obviously always had to document whatever you had going on, even if it was documented for you. You needed to make sure. You created reality TV unintentionally. I remember we went to Legoland in San Diego with a friend, and of course you wanted to make it a weekend event where we would also visit SeaWorld, so we all got to stay in a hotel. One evening, our minds were running wild and we wanted to play out some scary scenario. You immediately loved our idea once we shared it with you, and of course, mentioned how we should make it into a movie. It was so fun running around to different places and playing pretend in the most extravagant ways. He always encouraged me to turn life into art. And that's what I plan to do, turn my life into art. I love hearing stories of you from before I was even a thought. From skydiving over 1,000 times to being the head of your Vespa club, traveling from New York to Florida to Los Angeles in a crew of Vespas. I didn't come to your life until you were around 60. People always thought you were my grandfather, which you obviously loved. I will never forget the look on your face that came up every time they did. I never saw you as an old man, but to me you do resemble the old guy from Up just a tad. Just my father, so full of life, passing down his daredevil side to me. The only parent in my friend group willing and encouraging a bunch of kids to ride roller coasters and even buying a bigger car to take more of my friends to Six Flags and Disneyland. I remember asking you to go skydiving with me last year, and although for the first time you said you may be past your time to jump, you offered to ride up in the plane and film it. I want to give a special shout out to both you and my mother for giving me the best gift in this world, my life. Not to mention he gifted me these great blue eyes and long lashes, which get in my eyes most of the time, but thank you for that. I always thought it was funny how much taller my mom was than you. I remember talking to her about it one time and she told me she fell in love with you before you even stood up. My life was so different from his kids because I didn't have the pleasure of being alive while he was in full throttle of being a director. But at the same time, he never stopped directing. I became his muse. It's true what they say, you don't know what you got till it's gone. I took a lot for granted, but I'll never forget. Videotaping and taking pictures, it used to frustrate me as I was growing up, and became more aware of what was going on. Why was I embarrassed? Who knows? Teenage angst. Either way, I'm so appreciative that he never listened to me to put the camera down, because now I have so many memories. He was a very particular person, knew exactly what he wanted. He was never indecisive, if only that had rubbed off on me. Even when it came to breakfast these past few years, he had it written out in his head and expected a full production, cereal full of fiber, which he was very proud of and highly encouraged me to have fiber so I'd have better poops. Switched to almond milk recently because he realized that soy wasn't the best for him, with a banana to slice and coffee, black, like his soul. Just kidding. My dad always encouraged me to explore and travel to broaden my horizon. Only last year he was telling me how he'd like to come to Burning Man with me this year. He was blown away by my stories and photographs that I shared with him. Maybe it's because he was way out of this world than he made himself believe. I definitely never felt like I was from here. That's for sure. John was his own person, despite what anyone told him. I wanted to become a yoga teacher 2 years ago. He encouraged my new endeavor as he encouraged all avenues of my adventures. He used to send me newspaper articles about new yoga studies because he knew it was a new interest of mine. A few months after my teacher training, he hired me as his first ever private yoga teacher. I couldn't believe it, but I had to believe it to see it for myself. He embraced the mind, body, and soul. No longer resisting and really tuning into himself. It was a beautiful and surprising process, seeing him fully surrender and let go. My dad was from a different time, but it felt like a time machine because I felt like I was able to take a peek of the old times. Boy, did he have stories to share. For example, of being in the old times, he never let me open a door myself, always insisting to put my jacket on for me. I never appreciated that kind of treatment when I was younger because he made it seem like that was just a way of life. Well, I was definitely mistaken. Friends of mine who knew my father always loved getting into deep intellectual thoughts about life, especially over his favorite glass of Merlot, Francis Coppola. That became my favorite glass of red wine because of him. Friends of mine, deep intellectual thoughts about life. If it was chatting about movies or traveling or how it was like before cell phones existed. He had a funny way of teaching me manners, like not finishing the conversation with me if I was on my phone. He considered that interrupting, which I've taken to heart and now understand his perspective. But one thing he always said was there was no excuse not to know the meaning of a word. For example, if I was reading something and I were to say a big word he could tell I didn't understand, he had me look it up in my mini dictionary, aka my phone. Another thing is growing up when I was a lot smaller, he used to call me a sack of potatoes, and I used to want to like be put into like a giant sheet, and he literally used to like run around the house like this. I wanted that. It seems kind of abusive, but I wanted it. I don't know. When I was younger, I remember when we were in the hospital, I told him that I'll always be a sack of potatoes, and that got him to laugh, and so that made my day. When I was younger and he'd drive me to school, silence was rare. If we weren't having some deep discussion, which I very much avoided, I enjoyed listening to music. Radio Disney and Kiss FM was definitely not on his list. But the times where he allowed me to listen, I could tell at times he was enjoying himself and asked about the artist. But when he got his way, which is most of the time, he played nothing but his old-time favorites. I didn't fully understand the culture and history he was passing on to me, but it never faded. It's a part of me. And so is my father. He will always have a special place in my heart that will only grow stronger. You're a legend, and most importantly, my guardian angel. I will continue to make you proud. Well, at least I can hope. This is for you. So I was listening to a lot of Frank Sinatra recently because that was like one of his favorite artists. And I don't know exactly the way to sing this song. I picked two songs that mean a lot to him and me, and I started to read the lyrics and listen to the lyrics of My Way, which literally sounds like him. And so I wanted to speak it out for everyone. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain, my friend. I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every highway, but more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway. And much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew, but through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried. I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing. To think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got, if not himself, then he has not. To say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. I'm very nervous, but I want to sing this for him. For you. Okay. Fly me to the moon, let me play amongst the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true.